What is up, guys? Zach here with my Extreme Rules pay-per-view review. I gotta say, what a pay-per-view this was. But before I get to that fucker Osama bin Laden is dead. Thank God this motherfucker has been on the run for almost 10 years now, and he's finally been brought down. Finally, all I can say is I'm happy about that. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But overall, Extreme Rules, very, very pleased with the pay-per-view. I thought this was a great pay-per-view. I'd probably give this the second best pay-per-view of the year behind Elimination Chamber. So I really enjoyed the show. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed the show a lot. But the first match to kick off the show was the Last Man Standing match, Randy Orton versus CM Punk. I thought this was a very good match. I thought this was very fun to watch. They used the kendo sticks a lot in this match. They used a steel chair a couple times in this match. What else did they use? I think that's about it. If they use something else, put it down, because I really don't remember besides the kendo and the steel chair. Actually, Orton went beast on Punk with his kendo stick. He whacked him like 9 times in a row. He actually whacked CM Punk and CM Punk for the flying shoulder or arm or whatever. You know, Orton just nailed the shit out of Punk in midair. And you know, there's a spot where Orton like backdropped Punk into the barricade. And, you know, they had a spot where Orton RKO'd Punk onto the announce table, which is pretty sick. And yeah, Orton basically throw Punk into a steel chair that was posted in the turnbuckles. You know, he threw Punk into that, which is pretty cool. Punk actually put Orton's, like he put a chair in Orton's head and threw him to the ring post, which I thought was really cool as well. I just remember the spot, but I totally just forgot what it was. But, yeah, it was pretty sick, because Punk gave him a sick GTS as well. And he actually gave him a GTS as well. He threw him, but instead of kneeing him, the steel steps hits Punk, not Punk, Orton instead, which I thought was really cool. Orton does a sick RKO. You know, Punk goes to backdrop Orton to the steel chair, but Orton ends up getting him a sick RKO. You know, but at the end of the match, CM Punk was on the top rope, and Orton hit him with a kendo stick, and you know, Orton gives him an RKO off the top ropes, and you know, Orton wins the match and is the last man standing. I said in my prediction videos, I did not see CM Punk going over in this match, but I still predicted CM Punk to win. But Orton ended up winning. I'm not really surprised about that. I don't know why people are complaining about it. It's kind of obvious Orton was going to win, but whatever. I kind of thought that New Nexus would have interfered, but the GM said New Nexus was banned from ringside in the match, so I sort of knew Orton was going to win that match. But it's still a very, very good match. Very, very good opener. I enjoyed this match a lot. Then you have Sheamus backstage complaining that he has to defend his title against Kofi Kingston, and then Teddy announces that it's being a tables match. So that was actually the next match, title match for the United States Championship. Sheamus versus Kofi Kingston. I actually missed the first minute of this match because my internet went down for about a minute, and then it came back up, so I missed the entrances in like the first minute and a half of the match. But this was actually a pretty good match, better than I expected it to be. They took a lot of tables out, but they didn't really use them. They like set them, and they tried to put them through the table, but they didn't put them through, so they just like threw the table aside. And this was like I said, a pretty good match overall. You know, they had a spot where Sheamus was teetering down, and there's a table behind him, and Kofi Kingston went to like jump off the ropes and hit him, but Sheamus ended up doing a flying shoulder block onto him, which is pretty cool. Kofi did a lot of stuff in this match, like he went to jump on Sheamus on the turnbuckle, like to go through the table, but Sheamus moved and he like grabbed onto the turnbuckles. And you know, Kofi saved his ass a lot from going through tables in this match, which is pretty cool. But at the end of the match, you know, Kofi had, you know, Sheamus is getting up in the outside, and Kofi's on the turnbuckle, and Kofi does, you know, a leg drop, and lands on Sheamus, and Sheamus goes to the table, and Kofi Kingston wins the United States Championship. Not a fan of the decision of throwing the title at Kofi Kingston, mainly because Sheamus just won this title, you know, a month and a half ago, and me, personally, Kofi Kingston, the boring-ass champion. I don't like Kofi Kingston's champion at all. I think the only good reign he had was his first U.S. title reign in, the summer of '09. That was actually a pretty good reign. He actually defended the title a lot. But to me, Kofi Kingston's the boring champion. Hopefully now that he's on Raw, he can defend the title more. And that's the only reason why he won the title, because he got drafted to Raw, and Raw didn't have a mid-card title, so they threw the belt with Kofi. But overall, it was a good match, in my opinion. Next we had was the country whipping match. Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross versus Michael Cole and Jack Swagger. This was more interesting than I thought it would be. It was actually more entertaining, I should say, not interesting, than I thought it would be. They got some good whips, and Cole comes out in like a freaking suit full of bubble wrap, which I thought was pretty, like, what the fuck. But it was good for what it was worth, you know. Me, I didn't have any expectations for this match, but it was good for what it was worth. But at the end, I was actually kind of shocked by the end. JR had Michael Cole in the ankle lock, but Jack Swagger, you know, started hitting JR to, you know, try to stop him from Cole tapping out. And, you know, JR started beating on Swagger, and then Cole ends up rolling up JR and ends up winning the match. So Cole and Swagger won the match by a roll-up, which I was very, very shocked they had Cole and Swagger win. But the thing is, are they going to continue this feud, or is this going to end it with Cole winning? Doesn't make any sense. But anyways, Cole and Swagger win, nothing special in the match. Next, you had the Falls Count Anywhere match. Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. This was a very, very fun match. I had a lot of fun watching this match. They actually went all over the arena. It was awesome. This is why I love Falls Count Anywhere matches, because they go all around the match. Well, it depends who's in the match, you know. When you have Randy Orton, Triple H in the Falls Count Anywhere, it's not going to go anywhere. But when you put people like Rhodes and Mysterio, it's going to be a great match. They actually went up on the stage where Mysterio did the splash on Rhodes on the ground, which was sick. You know, they end up going all the way up to where the concession stands are, and Rey Mysterio ends up spearing Rhodes through a bunch of trash cans. And Rhodes does a sick kick off the counter on Mysterio, and the people around that area started chanting, "Holy shit!" And that was like a markout moment for me, because you never hear those chants anymore. And then they started chanting, "This is awesome" right after that, and this was just great, great, great. You know, and they end up making their way back down into the ring. And Rhodes just flips Mysterio onto the concrete, which was sick. What the hell? Anyway, sorry about that. And then they end up going back in the ring. And it looks like Mysterio is going to lose him, you know. Rhodes is going to win, looks like. But then all of a sudden, Mysterio sprays this green mist into Cody Rhodes' face. And then Mysterio hits a 619, hits a splash, and gets the 1-2-3 and wins the match. I was kind of surprised by that. I really didn't expect well, I know Mysterio's going to win, but I didn't expect that kind of ending. I thought it was kind of a weird ending, but nevertheless, it was still a great match in my opinion. Really, really enjoyed it. Next, you had Layla backstage with Divas, and, you know, Layla's all like, "I know you guys don't like me, but this is my last night in WWE, whatever, blah, 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 blah." Yeah, whatever, who cares. Then you go to the no disqualification, no count out, no disqualification, loser leaves WWE match. Michelle McCool versus Layla. Whatever match. They actually got outside the ring for most of the match, so that was pretty cool. But Layla ended up getting the win after Michelle McCool hit the Faith Breaker. But when Michelle McCool went to pin, Layla like flipped her over and got the 1-2-3 won the match. So Layla is still in WWE, but Michelle McCool is now gone. Then after the match, Karma debuts, who is Awesome Kong if you did not know. Comes out and hits the implant buster on Michelle McCool, and pretty cool debut for her. But to me, it's whatever. I really don't care about the Divas, anyways. If she's even considered a diva, I don't even know. But it was a good debut for Karma. From there, you go to the ladder match for the Vacant World Heavyweight Championship. Alberto Del Rio versus Christian. This was a good match. I kind of thought it was kind of slow, but it was still a really, really good match. They didn't use the ladders as much as they wanted them to, but they still executed the ladders pretty good. And they actually used this like hornswoggle ladder a lot in the match, which I thought was pretty funny. They had this spot where Del Rio goes to splash on Christian onto the ladder, like he sets it in the ring and the announce table and lays it, and he goes to splash Christian, but Christian moves and Del Rio goes right to the ladder, which is very, very sick. And then, you know, Christian goes in the ring, and he's going to win the title, but then Brodus Clay comes out of nowhere and just beats the hell out of Christian. And at that point, I'm like, alright, Del Rio's winning the title. Fuck me. But when that's happening, Del Rio gets the ladder and starts climbing it. Edge comes out in like this little like I don't know what the hell it's called. Comes out of some kind of car and just like honks it, and is distracting Del Rio. And I think Christian ends up tipping the ladder, and Del Rio ends up jumping out into the ring, landing on Clay and Ricardo Rodriguez. And then Christian climbs the ladder and edges out ringside, patting the mat, and Christian unhooks the championship and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. Very, very, very excited and pumped that Christian is finally the World Heavyweight Champion. Hope he has his belt for a while. Can he at least have him for it till SummerSlam? Because I know WWE is not really, well, Vince McMahon isn't really like positive about Christian being world champion, but at least let him have it till SummerSlam at least. But there's a spot in the match where I forgot to mention where Christian actually spears Del Rio, which I thought was pretty cool. But after the match, Christian and Edge were celebrating because Christian's the world champion, and just very, very excited that Christian is world champion finally. Next, we get another added match, Lumberjack match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Kane and the Big Show versus Wade Barrett and Ezekiel Jackson. Yeah, I want to know why Barrett and Jackson are challenging for the tag titles as well. I was expecting Slater and Gabriel, but whatever. Slater and Gabriel were actually one of the Lumberjacks, but this match overall was an okay match. Nothing special. The only good thing is when Jackson ends up, body slamming the Big Show, and Jackson goes for the win, but Barrett tags himself in. Barrett goes for waistland, can't lift up the Big Show, so Big Show gives him a huge ass choke slam, and 1, 2, 3 retains the tag team titles. Nothing special. Then you have Miz and Riley backstage, and Riley's like, you can lose a title, and if you lose a title, you still have that rematch clause, basically telling Miz that, hey, you're gonna lose a title tonight. But Miz is like, whatever. Which goes into the main event, triple threat steel cage match for the WWE Championship. The Miz versus John Cena versus John Morrison. I thought this was a good match. It's kind of slow. It was hard to get into the match because it has no build. In WWE, for me, when a match does not have any build to it, it's hard to get into it. That was, can't get the words out. I can't even describe what I'm trying to say right now. It sounds good in my head, but I just can't put it into words. And just say the match was hard to get into for me because I had no build, like I said before. But it was still a good match. John Morrison was beasting throughout the entire match. He was doing a lot of crap, which was very, very impressive. Whenever you have John Morrison in some kind of steel cage, ladder, or whatever match, you're going to get greatness from John Morrison, no matter what, basically. But at the end, Morrison was actually he was actually escaping the cage throughout the door. But then R-Truth comes out of nowhere and just nails Morrison's face into the steel steps, throws him back in the ring. He gives John Cena the scissors kick, and then he hits pay dirt on John Morrison, ripping off Shelton Benjamin's move, R-Truth. We all know you lost that feud with Benjamin for the U.S. title 2008. Doesn't mean you gotta steal his move, man. But he gives him that. Then he climbs out of the cage, which I do not know why he did that. I don't know why he just didn't go to the door. But he just leaves, and the Miz is trying to escape. He gets to the top, then John Cena goes up, gets the Miz, and he's trying to throw Miz back in the ring. And they end up both going on the top rope. And then Miz ends up going for the Skull Crusher finale, but he can't get John Cena to go down. And then John Cena puts him in the AA and gives him the AA. And 1, 2, 3, John Cena is your new WWE Champion. Very, very pissed off that John Cena won the WWE Championship. I wanted Miz to keep it till at least Capital Punishment. But whatever. We're probably gonna get Miz and Cena over the limit again. But it's whatever. I'm kind of pissed off that Miz lost the title. I am pissed off that Miz lost the title. But John Cena is now a 10-time world champion. Whatever. Congratulations to Cena for becoming a 10-time champion. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. We're probably. I don't know who. Well, you could have CM Punk challenge him after the Miz and continue that feud, or you could have Morrison challenge Cena, but that wouldn't really make any sense. But whatever. That basically tells us we're getting Cena and Miz at Over the Limit, which I think we should have gotten at Extreme Rules, just Cena and Miz. But nevertheless, it was still a good match. Extreme Rules, I give this a big thumbs up. I thought this was a great pay-per-view, really, really enjoyable. And I'm Zach, and that's my review, and thanks for watching, guys.